All right, Mark, start recording.
All right, 1 second. Takes a little bit of time. I'll be there in a minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hold on. Just need to make sure the stream is working. All right, we are ready to go, sir.
Okay, call to order. Time is 6:07 p.m. Virtual instructions. Town Clerk, can you read the virtual instructions?
Sure. Notice is hereby given that the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida will hold a virtual workshop commission meeting utilizing communications media technology in accordance with Emergency Ordinance 2020-009 dated November 10th, 2020, pertaining to conducting local government meetings while under the public health emergency related to the spread of coronavirus. Workshop commission meeting Wednesday, March 24th, 2021 at 6 p.m. You can call in by dialing 1-877-309-2073 or 1-646-749-3129. The access code is 522-993-181. This is a go-to meeting, and the access code is 522-993-181. 2 hours prior to the meeting, you can submit a text or voicemail at 954-707-9820. Any member of the public wishing to comment publicly on any matter, including on items on the agenda, may submit their comments by emailing to the town clerk at townclerk@tppfl.gov. All comments submitted by email that, if read orally, are 3 minutes or less, shall be read into the record. All comments submitted by email shall be made part of the public record. If any member of the public requires additional information about this town commission meeting or has any questions about how to submit a public comment at the meeting, please contact Marlene D. Martel, Town Clerk, Town of Pembroke Park, 3150 Southwest 52nd Avenue, Pembroke Park, Florida, 33023. The telephone number is 954-966-4600, extension 235.
All right. Hoist the colors for us there. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes. Here.
Clerk Commissioner DeVille?
Here.
Vice Mayor Cohen?
Here.
Mayor Jacobs?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Additions, deletions, withdrawals to the agenda. Vice Mayor?
No, I have nothing.
All right. Clerk Commissioner?
No, nothing.
Commissioner Clark?
Nothing. Looks good.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
This is Harry. If possible, would it be possible to move item number 14.5 to the front of the agenda? The auditors
which number?
14.5. It's a status report on the year-end audit. We have our auditors on the line, and I'd like for them to be able to present that to the commission.
I don't have a problem with that.
So I'd just like to move that up if we can.
And
All right. We'll move up 14.5 to the next item.
Thank you.
a motion to approve the agenda as stated or as is.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Motion made by Commissioner Clark, seconded by Clerk Commissioner DeVille. Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. we're gonna jump ahead to 14.1 or 14.5. Let me scroll down to it here. 14.5, fiscal 2020 year-end audits.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Commission. With us today, we have Tanya Davis, partner of S. Davis and Associates, as well as Marie Philippe, who's the lead auditor for the audit for the town. They would like to give a presentation of a snapshot of where we are with the year-end audit. Marie, I believe, is going to be handling the presentation. Tanya, I see that you're on. I don't know if there's something you might want to add prior to Marie taking over, but Mark, we're going to have to grant access to Marie so she could do the presentation, please.
And so, Harry, I'm actually going to go ahead and present this evening.
Okay. My apologies.
That's okay. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Tanya Davis, partner from S. Davis and Associates. Go ahead.
So am I able to share my screen?
Yes, I just gave you permissions, Ms. Davis. You're all set.
Okay. Thank you. And can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. It's our pleasure to present where we are, just a status update of the audit as of today. And as Harry mentioned, I have Marie Philippe on the call as well to chime in if necessary, if you all have any questions. We're glad to be here tonight, and especially to present to you, as you'll see as I go through the presentation, that we are well in advance of where we were last year and where the audit has been in the last few years. So for the presentation today, of course I can't get this to, okay. We are going to just talk about where we are now, do a little about the scope of the audit, and then present the significant audit results as of today and the financial highlights as of today. Audit field work, we have significantly completed audit field work as of today. The audit reporting package, which is your financial statements and your notes to the financial statements and any auditor's comments we have in auditor's reports, are in the review stage. We're expecting to present to issue our auditor's reports by the March 31st deadline, state's deadline. And then after that is issued, we expect to be able to transmit the full audit reporting package to you no later than April 16th of this year. So again, this year, the audit was primarily performed remotely due to COVID-19. And as I go through this, I want you to know that there are no significant changes that we will expect from here to when we issue the final report. Again, as mentioned, as alluded to, this is the earliest that the audit reporting package was finalized in the last 6 years, and the only on-time issuance in as many years. In 2018 and 2017 audit years, the auditor's reports were dated in December 2019 and December 2018, respectively, which was 15 months after those audit year ends. So want to thank Harry and his staff and give kudos to them for this great achievement, to be able to move up the audit issuance dates as they have this year. Scope of the audit. Management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements and the notes of the financial statements, which includes the design, implementation, and maintenance of internal control. This responsibility extends to you all as the governing body. Our responsibility as auditors is the planning and performance of the audit to make sure that we obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are not materially misstated. The audit of the financial statements is done pursuant to generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards. We also perform the audit in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 10550, Rules of the Auditor General. Significant audit results. And you all can stop and ask me questions at any point in time, or we can wait for questions to the end. As of today, our expectation is that we will issue an unmodified audit opinion on the financial statements. The unmodified opinion is the best type of opinion that any audited entity can get, and it states that the financial statements are not materially misstated. Regarding internal controls, there is one material weakness from prior years that we are expecting to be resolved by the auditor's report date, which means that that material weakness in internal controls will go away this year upon resolution. There is one significant deficiency in internal controls that will be carried forward from prior years. That is expected to be resolved in the 2021 fiscal year. One significant deficiency in internal controls that was reported last year has been resolved in this current audit year, fiscal 2020. There are some other matters that we have noted that may be reported in your final reporting package. Those items are recommendations to improve internal controls and financial processes, and they do not rise to the level of significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. Financial highlights, your net position and fund balances for fiscal year 2020 as of today's date. Again, expecting no significant changes. We're showing you the movement in these fund balances from 2018 to 2020. As you see, the general fund balance has increased steadily from $2,700,000 approximately in 2018 to $4,028,000 approximately in 2020. The unassigned portion of that fund balance has also increased from about $2.7 million in 2018 to just shy of $4 million in 2020. That is those are your governmental funds. Your proprietary funds or your enterprise funds, net positions, and unrestricted net positions have also increased steadily over the last 3 years. The net position of the total proprietary funds was $14.4 million in fiscal year ended 2018, and the draft for 2020 is reporting $16.1 million as of today. The unrestricted portion of that net position was $8.9 million in 2018, increasing to $11.8 million in 2020. The fiduciary funds, which is your net position held in trust for pension benefits, has increased as well, not quite as drastically, but it went from $3.1 million approximately in 2018 to approximately $3.3 million for 2020. Your entity-wide financial statements are those financial statements that are more like what you would see in a commercial entity, and it has all of the appropriate accruals included in that, accruals of account balances. Your capital assets is included in the entity-wide. Your debt, your long-term debt is also included in the entity-wide. That net position increased from $18.1 million in 2018 to approximately $21.2 million for 2020. That unrestricted portion of that net position increased from $9.1 million in 2018 to $13.5 million in 2020. If you have any questions on these numbers, please let me know. And of course, we're presenting numbers in more detail once the financial statements are finalized, but we wanted to just go over a general overview today so that you would know where we stand. And that really completes our audit status report and our brief and presentation. Do you have any questions?
I have a question for you. You said it will be
Yes.
completed on March 31st and submitted on April 16th. What's the deadline for submitting?
The deadline for completion and issuance of the auditor's reports is March 31st.
Okay.
That's the state's deadline. And so when we say we're issuing, what that really means is that the audited financial statements are completed, and we are dating our actual auditor's reports, which you will have 3 in your financial statement reporting package. We'll be dating that as of March 31st. And then we will submit no later than April 16th. It's usually a quicker turnaround than that, but we will make sure that it's submitted by that time.
Okay. So next year, what is the date? What's the date it has to be filed by?
The date that the state would like, well, it also depends on whether or not you are submitting for the, you're doing a CAPA that you're submitting to the GFOA for the Certificate of Excellence.
Okay.
In that case, it's typically to be submitted by March 31st for that process.
Okay.
Barring extensions. Now, we'll tell you that over the past couple of years, their extensions have been granted because of COVID.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
Good job, Harry. Thank you.
Vice Mayor, good job for everybody, including you. Is it in the budget?
That's why everything is looking good.
Right, and let's keep it up. Mayor, clerk, manager, everybody. This is a celebration. And Gina, our Vice Mayor, and I lived through it, and it wasn't a pretty picture. And so big kudos to everybody.
Ms. Davis, you were saying we haven't had it on time in 6 years?
You have not had an on-time submission in at least 6 years. I only went back 6 years. And there were 2 years that I think the earliest that it was submitted in the past 6 years was June, following the audit year, and then as late as 15 months after the audit year.
Well, we're back on track now.
Yes, you're back on track. However, I do want to state that in order for there to be an on-time submission this year, or for us to be able to issue our audit reports by the stated date, March 31st, the finance director and the city manager will need to have authorization from the commissioners to approve the final detailed audit reporting package pending no significant changes.
Okay. See that man right there, JC Jimenez? He's going to make sure next year is on time and done.
We were really close this year. I mean, we've been, but again, it still can be done, like she said.
Correct.
You just give us, myself and Harry, the authorization to sign off on it and send it. Obviously, if there's no major issues from here to then, which I don't expect.
You have a question. When did we hire this new firm, Mr. Mayor? Would you ask that for me?
Yes,
I can answer that if you don't mind.
you've been here 2 years, right?
That is correct.
This will be our second year, and we were hired. Harry, was it after or very, very close to the end of the very first fiscal year we were engaged?
Yes.
Yes. The prior year audit ended October 2020, and we rolled into the audit for fiscal 2020 in the hopes of getting it done by March 31st. certain with the completion being this timely that next year should not be an issue in getting it done by March 31st.
And I would just like to further add, great job, Harry. You were under a lot of pressure. Great job.
I appreciate that, but really the credit goes to everybody, just not me. I couldn't do it without my staff, and definitely the support from everybody at Town Hall and the commitment from S. Davis and Associates, Tanya and her team. They really put a lot of pressure on them, as I'm sure she has no mind stating. She knew the importance of it, and they came through. I really give them a lot of credit. They put their money where their mouth is, and they really came through.
And the commitment, and the commission, and management, all of us.
Absolutely,
together.
Absolutely.
Ms. Davis, next year we will be on time.
I'm sure you will be.
Leader.
If Harry could have pushed it the way he pushed it this year, there will be absolutely no problem next year. And then the next hurdle will be to try to do a CAFR, Harry, and submit for that certificate of excellence.
There we go.
I thought
that is the goal for next year. The goal for next year is now take the time now in the summertime to work towards being able to get that CAFR and get that certificate for next year.
All right. Is there anything more for Ms. Davis? Harry?
Not from me, thank you. Not from me, sir.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Ms. Davis. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank your team. Tanya, thank your team also, please. Thank you.
I will. Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to move back to we have number 6, presentations. We have none. Number 7, reports of committees and city staff. 7.1, Broward Sheriff's Office, Captain Coker. Are you here, Captain Coker? BSO.
Mr. Mayor, good evening. This is Lieutenant Charles. With your permission, I'd like to present the statistics to the commission tonight.
Sure. Can you speak up just a little bit?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Good evening, Mayor Jacobs, Vice Mayor Cohen, Commissioners Clark and Javille. During the month of February 2021, we had a total of 549 calls for service. 146 of those were non-911 calls, and we had 265 911 calls, as well as 138 self-initiated calls. We had 29 accidents, 22 of those were minor, and 7 of those were accidents with various injuries. As far as citations, we issued a total of 39 citations during 32 traffic stops. We had a total of 5 arrests. 1 was for burglary with a battery, which I will touch on later, and one was for carrying concealed firearm. 1 was for trespass after warning, and the last was for a warrant in reference to a grand theft. We had a total of 2 incidents in the mobile home parks. We had 1 residential burglary and 1 conveyance burglary. The residential was an unlocked trailer, an unoccupied trailer, and the conveyance was an unlocked vehicle. In total, we had 1 residential burglary and 5 burglary conveyances. The burglary that I touched up earlier, which resulted in the arrest, is one of the burglary conveyances where the victim knew the suspect. And we had 3 vehicle burglaries where the vehicles were unlocked and items taken from inside. With that said, I'd like to take the time to remind the residents of the town to please lock your vehicles and make sure that your valuables are out of sight. All right, that would deter some of these activities. With that said, sir, I am ready to answer any questions that the commission may have for me.
All right. Does anyone have any questions? No questions. Thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Pull my agenda back up here. And Chief Kane, Fire Department, 7.2. Chief Kane, are you here tonight?
Let me unmute everybody. Hold on. All right, everybody's.
Can you hear me, Mr. Mayor?
I can hear you now.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Michael Kane, Battalion Chief, Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue, representing the town of Pembroke Park. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and Commission. I have the statistics that I'd like to present for the month of February 2021. For the month of February, we have a total of 180 calls for service. Of those, 4 were fire-related, 50 were vehicle accidents, 8 were fire alarms, 114 were medical calls for service, and 4 were service calls. That seemed unusually high. Normally, we run between 130 and 140 calls for service a month. So I went back and did a little research, and there was a change of 52 calls in total. The increase was vehicle accidents by 25 and medical calls of about 20 in total. So then I went back a little bit further to see if there was any relationship in those, and there was not. So it seems to be that this month was, or last month I should say, was rather an anomaly. It is not comparable to any month in the past 12 months as far as volume is concerned. So I'll keep a close watch on it going forward and see if it seems to go back to normal of about 140 calls next month. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Anyone have any questions? I was going to say those numbers seem a little high for our normal, but makes sense.
They are high. They are high, but they're true numbers. I went back and checked several times because it was unusual. But I'll keep a close eye on it going forward.
Thank you, Chief Kane. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
Have a wonderful evening. All right, number 8, Building Department. Building Official Nunez, 8.1.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Miguel Nunez, Building Official. At this point in time, I would like to present the February 2021 report, monthly report. And as is customary, the Building Department is still an exemplary department because of the services that we provide to our internal and external customers. Further, I would like to notify the Commission that the new building department office renovations is still going on task. We've got a couple of hiccups, like typical construction, but it's going forward. And right now we are proud to say that we are almost to the back end of the process. In addition to that, by the numbers, during the month of February, we have a slightly increase of the income on the department. So what we performed during that time, I'm sorry, the numbers, we increased the numbers, which we have 53 permits issued, commercial, residential applications went up in the aspects of maybe 10-15%. The permit close were increased also, the inspections were in the increase, and the front counter visits was also in the increase. So that means it appears that everything is moving forward, and we are going a little bit off of the COVID, like everybody has felt it. In the revenue side, the building department alone collected $37,547, which is an increase from the previous month, and it appears that we're going on track for our budget at the end of the year, fiscal year. In regards to the large construction projects, all of them are moving, and the last one that you can see is the one that we was presented on the previous commission meeting, which was a car laundry. That is on the new one that is coming. In addition, we have the newest tenant or partner that we have for the distribution center for the Amazon, that all the permits are out, and we're just waiting for them to start working on the inspections and the closing of the permits. Now, in addition to that, basically, we just the customary additions, permits for accessories, and so on. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Does anyone have any questions for the building department?
No, not a question, but just a compliment. looks really good, the construction that you've taken on and the new building department.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right. Here. Sorry, guys. I knocked down my email real quick. Oh, number 9, code enforcement. Chief Code Enforcement Officer Ramirez. This is her second attempt at this. You're muted. You're muted. There you
Good
go.
evening, Town Commission. How are you? Jocelyn Ramirez, Chief Code Enforcement Officer here to report the month of February. We have a summary of 2 affidavit of compliance, 3 courtesy notices, and 26 notices of violation. And I want to go over some compliant issues with you. Mark, can I share my screen?
Yeah, hold on one sec. Let me give you presenter. Hold on.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. You're all set.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just sharing basically what I submitted in the report. So here we have 5100 Southwest 41st Street, Condal de Real. As you can see, their parking lot was in bad condition back in October. We have a recent photo that they cleaned up the potholes in their parking lot. So that's good news, and I am in communication with them. They're also working on repairing other major issues. So let me see here. Then another property on 115 Lori Lane, that's on Lakeshore Mobile Home Park. On the picture of the left, you can see a bunch of refrigerators outdoor and a bunch of basically trash. You can see that they cleaned it all up and they left me a little note, no trespassing. That's okay. And then 4050 West Highlanddale Beach Boulevard. As we know, that's one of our main corridors. There's been a lot of dead palm trees, and so as we've been citing them, they've been putting new palm trees, as well as 4520 West Highlanddale Beach Boulevard. So I would say that is looking better on West Highlanddale Beach Boulevard. And we have picked up a bunch of snipe signs from the streets. And now going on to meetings. We have a special magistrate hearing scheduled for April 13th and April 27th. And some of the major projects we're working on, again, is the town corridors, which is continuous, and the graffiti removal near the railroad corridors. A little update about that, I have been in contact with FDOT and South Florida Rails Authority. So basically what they have told me is that they're looking into putting some fencing, possibly some cameras to deter people from doing so, as well as dumping vehicles and trash near the railroad corridors. And lastly, special magistrate, things are going to be different, but I'm working with the team and the town attorney, and a little things are going to change, but so far so good. Any questions for me?
No, good job. You're cleaning up this town.
Thank you very much.
Wait, Vice Mayor's got a question for you.
No, I just wanted to add to that. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. I did want to give everybody a heads up about, we have we have a bunch of businesses, it's almost a nuisance, that have signs as demonstrated on the pictures. It covers all the windows, they're covering doors. And I was in communication with our town planner and chief police. And we discussed the ordinance. Basically, this is prohibited in the town based on our ordinance. So we're gonna start forcing to remove all window signs since it is prohibited. And what they are allowed to do is put the basically a name identification and the business hours on the door, and that is it. Now that, you know, we have kind of like past the pandemic point, you know, we're doing court hearings now, you know, we're kind of getting back to normal. We're going to start enforcing more of that, and I wanted to let you guys know about it. Let me see. Any questions regarding that?
None for me. Anyone else?
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Number 10, Town Planner Siegel. 10.1, Monthly Status Report.
Good evening again. Heidi Siegel, Town Planner. Just briefly, over the last 30 days, I've spent more time establishing the Town Planner's office, coming up with standard operating procedures, updating our development board applications, updating the website. I've worked with code compliance on graffiti, parking in the right-of-way, and unpermitted structures. Also with some advice on setting up the future special magistrate. I've reviewed the alcohol ordinance, the town alcohol ordinance. I can say I get a lot of calls throughout the week of businesses interested in locating in the town. A lot of them are bar, restaurant type establishments. This week, the popular call was hookah bars. I've worked with the town attorney on the progressive waste settlement and public works on various issues, including right-of-ways and best practices when it comes to different permits. As far as major conversations in the last month, I've worked with one of our mobile home parks. They will be introducing new sites into the park, so I'm working with them to determine their density requirements, as well as making sure all the other requirements are addressed. And I've had various discussions with other property owners regarding vacant sites along Highlanddale Beach Boulevard, new townhomes that were submitted for review, 16 units along County Line Road, and the racetrack on Pembroke Road doing some upgrades to their site. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? No questions. We'll move on to 10.2, impact fee study.
Awesome. So this is one of the items that percolated up while I was working on establishing the office. The town charges impact fees at the time of building permit, either before or after the building permit, for various funds and programs in the town, specifically for stormwater drainage projects, fire, public safety facilities, acquisition of parkland, and sanitary sewer. While there's no requirement of when you should update them, you have to have a rational nexus to charge these fees. And our fees have not been updated for impact fees since 2003. And in order to do an update to the fees, you need to do a specialized study. Now, in my consulting life, I participated in some of these studies, but there's one firm that is known for doing this type of work, and that's Tyndall Oliver. So I am requesting that we engage with Tyndall Oliver through a piggyback contract, which means we would use another city's active contract with Tyndall Oliver instead of going out to bid, and proceed forward with an impact fee study. Some important notes, it's their proposal, which is included in your backup, is $81,660. Florida statute requires us to wait 90 days after we establish impact fees before we can charge them. So why would I like to do this now? We have some big things coming down the line, such as the new townhouse development that's at DRC. So we want to make sure that before these projects come in for building permits, we have new fees on the book. And yeah, it's been 18 years, and I think it's time to update. I also have Mr. Tyndall on the call today in case you have any questions about his firm or the type of work that they do. What we would like to do is to put this on the April 14th agenda as a piggyback item.
Okay, does anyone have questions? Vice Mayor Cohen?
Yes, I have a question for Melissa, the attorney. Melissa?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, because Heidi, you mentioned that you got the one bid. Don't we have to go out for other bids, or is that okay to select this person?
Are you talking about the impact fee study?
Right, the service.
The ability to piggy.
I mean, do we have to go out for an RFP on this?
No, our code allows us to enter into contracts, which are called piggyback contracts.
Okay.
And Heidi was able to find a contract for this company, and I think Heidi, had they done it for before?
It's Brooksville was the one that was recommended to use. They are also under contract with the city of Hollywood, but I'm not sure if that contract can be piggybacked off of, but Brooksville is available for piggyback.
Right, so because we're piggybacking, because we're using a company which has been competitively selected by another local government, we can accept that their rates and enter into a contract with them as long as the rates are the same and the services are the same as what we're asking them to do.
Thank you. You answered my question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Commissioner Clark, go ahead.
Is it in the budget?
So I forgot to include that. It is in my backup, but I spoke to Harry, our interim finance director, and we have forecasted surplus from the sewer and stormwater funds. This is $80,000, $81,000. If you saw in the presentation by Ms. Davis before, that fund is well funded and we're ahead on it. But Harry is well versed in my request right now as well.
All right, any more questions?
Yeah, I want Harry to answer it, if he would.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Commissioner. Yes, as Heidi stated, the plan is to use the surplus in the current annual budget in both the stormwater and sewer fund to finance the cost.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
How long will the study take to complete?
The timeline provided by the consultant has it completed by September, October, which was my request. So it lines up with the fiscal year and also with our projection on some of the projects coming through. They have recently completed the city of Highlanddale. They're underway in Hollywood. I can't speak for them. It's not necessarily the same data, but they're well versed, not only in impact fees, but this region. And like I stated, Mr. Tyndall is on the line if you need to speak to him.
Any more questions? All right, we'll move this to the consent agenda.
Thank you.
10.3, Bloomberg Philanthra Rope Something Asphalt Art Initiative Grant.
Yes. So this is, sure. It's this is the Bloomberg asphalt art. It's the Bloomberg Philanthropies. This is actually Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York. He has a lot of money and gives it away. So this is one of those programs. It's unrelated to him. He doesn't know about us, but it's a public asphalt art grant. If you've been to even downtown Fort Lauderdale, all over Miami-Dade County, and you see intersections that are painted, that's what is considered asphalt art. I put some examples also in your backup of projects they have funded. Because our preserve has an asphalt walkway and is public access, I would like to submit this grant under the other category. They do public plazas, so it might be seen as favorable. The grants are up to $25,000. If you agree to this, we would need to go find a fiscal agent who would be a nonprofit to be the person who would accept the funds on our behalf and then give the funds back to us. I would like my first stop to be Feeding South Florida, because I think it lines up very nicely that we are updating a fitness trail. They're about health and sustainable communities. The way that I drafted this grant would be to have a public design workshop. We would also select a local artist from South Florida who would lead the design process, but really have, I envision a workshop where the residents and users of the park come together and give ideas, from children to adults, multi-generational, and we come up with some kind of design that would be painted on the fitness trail by a community workshop. So the grant funds would go to a stipend for the artist, the paint supplies, as well as to have a print shop make the large stencils for the artwork. It's not pre-drawn artwork throughout the asphalt. So we would have a lot of community engagement, or attempt to have a lot of community engagement, and invite the community back to help with the painting and have some kind of celebration. It would probably last a year, but it would, it's a placemaker. It's interactive, bringing the community together. So we're looking for permission to pursue this. We'll bring it back on April 14th. We do need a resolution from the commission to proceed with it. And if you're okay with it, I'll start working on a budget and reaching out to a fiscal agent.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, Heidi and I talked at length about this, and I think it's a great idea. There's a lot of track out there for the wellness, and people use it, and I think it'll be phenomenal.
Anyone else?
I agree. It's a great idea.
And Vice Mayor Cohen? All right, let's move this one to the consent agenda. 10.4 AARP Community Challenge Grant.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the last item under planner. This is a grant program called the Community Challenge Grant that's put out every year by AARP, the 65 and over group that likes to send you cards and remind you that you're old around your 40th birthday. But this is to do improvements within the public right-of-way. We had a brainstorming session with myself, Harry, Miriam, and JC, and we came up with the idea of doing enhanced landscaping, lighting with electrical components, irrigation, and a public art or entrance feature along West Highlanddale Beach Boulevard. This grant opportunity also includes an opportunity for public engagement. This grant, there's no set budget amount. If you give us permission today, I will proceed to work with Public Works on coming up with a budget to submit with the grant. You have our draft application written here. And the only other sticking point is the grant is actually due on April 14th. So we will have it on the April 14th agenda, but I'm asking for forgiveness now to submit the grant before the actual meeting.
Right. Any questions? Anyone? No questions. We'll move that to the consent agenda. Thank you for your time, Heidi.
Thank you, Hardy, and thanks for the good job.
Thanks, everyone.
Number 11, Public Services, Interim Public Services Director Jacques. 11.1, Public Services Monthly Report.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Jacques, Vice Mayor Cohen, and the commissioners. This is Miriam Jacques, Interim Public Service Director. In my report today, everything is pretty routine. Nothing big has been happening in public services. I will go ahead and highlight that the bus pub shelters are being installed right now. It's possibly that you might see them popping up at various points on Highlanddale Beach, 52nd, at Pembroke Road. It might be because of spring break, we're still waiting on Broward County to approve the wrapping for the solar boxes for Commissioner Ray. Pretty soon, I believe they will go ahead and approve it. It's just a matter of time. For the sewer system, nothing big also happening there. We did have a break that was repaired, but that was last week, nothing to do with the previous month. And as I mentioned, nothing really big is happening. Any question?
Vice Mayor Cohen, go ahead. You're muted, Vice Mayor.
The backup, do you want to mention that for Commissioner Ray? What's going on with this item?
It's on it's 11.2, so I will.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Miriam, you mentioned the solar panel boxes. Are they just solar panel boxes, or because they were supposed to be traffic signal boxes?
No, they're solar panel. They're for the bus shelters.
Right, but I was referring to. I mean, I don't mind the solar panel ones, but I was more referring to the traffic signal ones. Those big ones that's at every corner, traffic signal corner.
At last time we talked, we believe you were talking about the one for the bus shelter that had graffiti on them. Then we cleaned them, and afterward we believe you. That's what you were referring to. So now you would like to add both the FPL and the Broward solar panel?
Well, are they solar panel? I think that's what's confusing me.
The little small boxes on the ground, no, those are the solar panels.
Right, but I'm referring to the traffic signal one, the big tall one.
Okay, those we were not looking toward those, but we can go ahead and add them.
Okay, yes, please.
Sure. It will be the same process. We will have to ask for their permission to do that.
All right, any more questions? No? All right, we'll move on to 11.2.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, one question. I just want to clarify. So that request from the commissioners, I guess it next week or the 14th under Ray and Public Service, clarify what he needs, what you need there, Ray, to move it forward, or Miriam, would you clarify that? So they know what he needs to put covering around the big tall boxes at the traffic police. I just want to make sure that's clear for.
Yes, that was clear. Thank you.
Okay, so that'll be on the agenda. Consent, I would hope, maybe up to the mayor.
We aren't to that item. We were just on the monthly report.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, are we done with the monthly report, everyone? Any questions on that? All right, moving on, 12.2, CMU wall replacement, Southwest 55th Avenue and Southwest 33rd Street.
Okay, this is the wall that's been discussed many times in previous meeting, and I had said that I will bring the supporting documents later. What you have in your package is what Michael Miller was he submitted to us, and he's here today. And Michael, are you ready to discuss a little bit of those documents?
If I need to, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, do you want me to say something?
Yeah, I want to fill in on this because it's going under consent, so we kind of need someone to say something on it.
Okay, historically, you know, I'm the old guy, so I know some of the history. This property with all the trees that's known as Pembroke Oaks, way back in time, it was apparently some type of commercial recreation facility with animals, I've understood. They built the concrete wall around their property, and it still remains today. When the Pembroke Oaks plat was recorded, we always look to see, the state looks to see if they have sufficient right-of-way. Broward County does, and the town as well. So there was additional right-of-way dedications for Highlanddale Beach Boulevard, 56th Ave, and we looked at 32nd Street, and the duplex zoning area, they're known as Lee Mills subdivision. When they platted back in 1959, they did like half the right-of-way, 30 feet, a little bit more than half. Local streets are supposed to be 50 feet wide. If you've driven on that road, you know that you're very close to that wall. So the wall, it was at the edge of the property owner's property, but after they dedicated the additional right-of-way, if we ever want to widen the road, then we have sufficient room now. There is a little piece missing where the Montessori is at the corner. And I failed to realize that, and I look back at the plat for the Blue Lake Villas, which is now called Azure Villas, and there's a missing piece of right-of-way that I didn't even know was there between 55th Ave and connecting up to 32nd Street. People use it regularly as a public right-of-way, but there's a section of the wall after the dedication that is within town property now, which is the east-west piece, if you will, for most of it, except right at the Montessori School, and as it turns the corner at the parking lot for Blue Lakes Villas. It appears to me that something, maybe a lawn equipment or something inside the Pembroke Oaks site that was maintaining it bumped into the wall. I don't know what else would be in there. And they cracked the wall and pushed a few pieces of block out. It's a really old wall. You can see from the construction, there's no reinforcing in that at all. I mean, the choice is it's sitting in your right-of-way. You can remove it if you choose to. Then the Pembroke Oak site will be open. When the site plan that they have, they were going to put landscaping, and it was going to be mostly a residential development, so they would not have had to have the wall there. It's only when you have commercial across from residential. So it's a fairly minor damage, I would say. I mean, you know, contractors are contractors, and they're going to give you their price to put a few pieces of concrete block back in, support it with some rebar, tie beam, stucco, and so forth. So I tried to put together some aerials and some plat information that illustrate what the situation that is there. So I can answer any questions that you have. I was just trying to be helpful and provide some historical information.
Aaron, if I may.
Go ahead, JC.
After reviewing this issue further and meeting with Miriam and our town attorney and Heidi, I really don't see us having a need for this wall. I would like to take our right-of-way, because that, first of all, 32nd Street needs to be widened. I mean, it's dangerously narrow. It's not wide enough for really two vehicles to pass next to each other. I've done it. It's a little dangerous. And it needs to be widened. Whether now or in the near future, it needs to be widened, but that wall needs to go. So, you know, I'd like to pursue that option as far as having it removed, or, you know, having the property owner relocate the wall if they want to secure their property, if they want to, you know, their boundaries, that's fine, but not on our right of way. And I would see if they could have that removed or relocated. And then I would work as well. We would reach out to the Montessori school to see if we can obtain the right of way as well, so that we can have an equal piece of the right of way there, so we can do our street widening. And that would be my recommendation. I wouldn't want to mess around with a wall anymore, especially one that's old and as Mike said, doesn't really have much reinforcement.
Okay.
AC, are you suggesting we remove both walls or just the east and west wall?
I would recommend whatever's on our town right of way. Whatever's on the town's right of way, have that removed, or or speak to the property owner to have them relocated. That would be my recommendation. Something that we can access our property, our right of way.
Yeah, there's a little piece of the wall that turns the corner and goes north 20 feet. That is in the new right of way that we obtained. From there north, it's a private wall on private property that separates the apartment complex from the vacant land.
Right, and if the property owner wants to utilize that portion and build, you know, and connect to the new section of the wall or relocate it to that point, that's fine. But I think we're going to need I know we're going to need our entire right of way for the widening of that street when we do choose to do so.
Now that sounds like a better idea than fixing this wall. Commissioner Clark, do you have anything?
Yeah, Ray, can I ask a couple of questions?
It's Commissioner DeVille, but okay.
I mean, yeah, yes, okay, thank you. Has anybody reached out to the property owner and has asked them if they would cooperate? Because I think that everybody knows you take the wall down, and if they're not going to cooperate, then you have a free access. Everybody can just go right up into that property and create more problems. So I think, Ray, I would ask if somebody would reach out to the property owner.
And I did that, Commissioner Clark. I talked to the property owner, and he informed me that he had a interest. Somebody had an interest in buying the property to develop it into something that he didn't know yet what it could be, but he believed that he will know something as early as next month, whether this person is truly interested. And if that's the case, the entrance to the business will be on Highlanddale Beach, but not on 32nd.
So I guess it would go to the town attorney. Can we just take that wall down, Melissa? And
Yes.
okay, but can we force them to put another wall up at the
I
property?
don't think we're interested in having another wall up. I think we're interested in letting them do what they want to do with their property, and we're going to use our right of way for a road. As I understand it, JC, is that correct?
That's correct. Obviously, I can't force the property owner to put up a wall or put up a fence or whatever. If they don't want to secure it, then they assume the liability of people walking into their property. That's up to them. I will say that if it's the commission's desire, and I would be more than happy to reach out to the property owner and talk to him instead of having them pay for half the wall or pay for the wall, or talk to them about the removal of that wall or the relocation of that wall onto their property and freeing up our right of way.
And then second, if someone is interested in developing it, that could be an opportune time to have them put the wall up at the proper location. And I think that's
Well, that's part of the site development, review process. And at that, well, Heidi's on, she can tell you.
Right. there are requirements for buffering and walls at rears of property. So that would be addressed both at the site development plan standpoint, and I need to review the code because I do believe it also says when there are vacant lots as well, there's some buffering. So that's, that's the responsibility of the property owner, and we will make sure they're fully informed.
So it's not going to be our expense. That's what I was trying to come up with.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it at our, I wouldn't have it at our expense, no, sir.
Okay, that's what, okay, so we're on this, I'm on the same page with them.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor and Ray.
Okay, so I'm still not sure what's the game plan moving forward.
If I'm not mistaken, we want to see if we can get that wall removed, free up our right of way, and if the property owner, right now it's vacant lot. If they want to secure their property, then they can properly erect a fence, a wall, to secure their property, but that would be at their expense. We just want to our right of way, and with your permission, with the commission's permission, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Hold on, go ahead.
With your permission, I would reach out to the property owner and discuss this option.
Okay, we're referring to a north and south wall, correct?
Yeah, the one that, the one that, let me see, I'm losing my, the one that runs.
The east-west.
The east-west, the long stretch, remove that one, but then also anything in our right of way. So the section that runs north-south, we would also want to remove that as well.
That's where the damage is.
Which is where the damage is.
Yes.
Right. No, so I was going to suggest we just keep that wall, the east-west wall, we just keep that one because that one is intact. And the damaged one, we could just maybe put some chain link fence for now. Because that'll be way less cost effective.
That becomes a little trickier because the one that runs east-west, north-south, the one with the damage on it, part of it is on our property, part of it is on private property. So if that's why I was just hoping to put it right at the property, at our property line, at the right-of-way line, remove everything, and then they can, put whatever fencing they would want to put up on their property line.
Yeah, but, okay, Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Okay, I think what Ray is saying, and I think I leaned to agree with him, the damage, the tie beam, and a couple of blocks. I don't see a picture of that in here.
It's in there.
Oh, it's in there, good, okay. So you could see where the damage is, and that's really how the whole issue came up to begin with, I believe. And so if we just make it where it's beautiful, repair it, and then when the developer comes in, we'll take care of it then. I think that's a lot more cost effective. Does anybody have a price, how much it's going to cost to take this wall down east and west? What is that, like 250 feet, 300 feet? I don't know. Does anybody know exactly how much money we're talking about?
We didn't explore the east and west wall because the damage was on the north-south wall, and a 20 by 15 was going to cost for the repair close to $8,000.
So I have a suggestion. Why don't we pull this item, get a couple quotes on what it would cost to remove the wall in its entirety. That way we can compare the two of repairing it or tearing it down.
I also have a suggestion that has occurred to me as we're talking about this, because I've discussed it with JC and Heidi before. If there are requirements that this property owner have some sort of buffer, I think the solution might, depending on what the commission wants to do and staff, is to is to remove the wall from our portion of right of way, and tell the property owner they have a responsibility to erect a buffer, because they do pursuant to the code, and then that becomes a code issue, right? So that's also a possibility. Take it off our property, which it shouldn't be on anyway, and tell them to do what they need to tell the property owner they have a responsibility under the code to erect a buffer.
Okay. We'll still need a couple quotes on tearing the wall down though.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll work with Public Works to clarify what the code requirements are. I tend to not like to just quote code on the fly at meetings.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor, go ahead. Hold on, Vice Mayor.
Go ahead.
You're muted.
You're muted, Gina.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is, I want to just make it clear. This is Commissioner DeVille's district. But I also, and I think that town manager Heidi, I think that you guys should get together with him, discuss this, go over there. But myself, looking at that wall and what I've been hearing, that because that road is narrow, and this is not the first time a car had ran into the wall, I think it's a safety hazard. And myself personally, I think it should be removed. And if it's our wall, we remove it. And then whatever the owner wants to do on his property, that's his thing. But Ray, it's up to you.
I agree with you, Vice Mayor, and I'll get together with Casey and at the same time.
Mr. Mayor, one other addition on that. At the last meeting, I requested, and you directed that Ray's name be on this issue. So if you could add his name at the next meeting, whenever it comes up again.
Can you make sure Ray's name is on this item for the next one? Marlon?
Yes, sir.
With public service.
Thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
All right, let's move on. This item will be pulled and put back on the next workshop. Item number 11.3. Someone's got to mute their mic. It's really noisy.
Miriam, I think you have to mute.
Okay, 11.3. Janitorial services, contract renewal. Interim Public Service Director Jacques, Project Manager Woodbury.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is it still loud coming through?
No,
I
go
think
ahead.
it's the AC coming up. This is a simple request to renew the janitorial service contract. It's still going to remain at the same cost, $16.25 a month. And then next year we will go ahead and put out a bid for invitation for bid for a new contract. At this moment, we'd like the approval of the commission to go ahead and do that.
All right, Commissioner comments? Anyone? Is this a one-year renewal? What, that?
Yes, it is.
Contract?
Yes, it is just 1 year.
Okay.
And Mayor, I should also point out that there's a cancellation clause on this, 30 days out for any reason.
Okay. All right, we'll move this one. No discussion. Move this over to the consent agenda. 11.4, Craig Smith and Associates, Southwest 25th Street Stormwater Improvement Project, Interim Public Service Director Jacques, Project Manager Woodbury.
Okay. I put before you the proposal that we received from Craig Smith. They divided into 5 phases for the cost, and when you look at your package for the survey, utility is almost $40,000, engineering analysis $123,346, project permitting is $13,780, construction phase 4 is $12,000, 19,197, and then the phase 6 this is what the HMGP is requesting from them, that they have to submit as part of the grant and it's 24,940, and the total is $236,358,000. I have to say that their proposal came $85,330 above what was requested and what was approved by the HMGP. In order to go forward, the town will have to not only put in that extra $85,000 and also do their 25% of the cost share for the grant. Steve Smith is on the line if you guys have any question. And this is only for the design phase of the grant.
Miriam, how much are we getting reimbursed for the grant for this project?
100. Well, for the design phase, it will be $151,028.
So we would have to come up with a difference to cover that.
Right, which is $85,330.
And just to let you, the commission know, this was from last meeting. You guys approved their continuing services agreement, or you approved our. We went through an RFP process, an RFQ process in this case, for engineering firms. We received, I believe it was 3 bids or 3 proposals from 3 different firms. We had a committee meet. We reviewed them all. We ranked them. We had a ranking scale. And when we tallied up the numbers, Craig A. Smith came out at the top. There was no prices discussed at that point. State law, the Competitive Consultant Negotiation Act, it doesn't allow us to negotiate based on prices with consultants, like professional engineers. So we ranked them based on qualifications, based on the quality of their submittal, and their experiences on the projects that they listed in their submittal. And then once you guys approve it, then now we're here to negotiate a contract, negotiate a price with them. So this is how we ended up here.
I have a question. Mr. Mayor, when you get a chance. Okay, so first of all, Melissa, that's town attorney, may I vote on this issue?
Yes, you may vote on this issue.
Okay, my next question is, Gina, what's our famous quote? Is the money there, Harry?
No, that wasn't what I was gonna say.
Well, that's what I was gonna
That was gonna be my second thing. I was gonna ask Melissa, can I have a safe harbor letter saying that it's okay to vote on this issue?
Yes, I will give you both a letter before the voting meeting in April. All right, I'll give you both, you and Commissioner Clark, a letter.
Okay.
Opinion. Okay. I do want to point out that the potential conflict is not voting on this contract, but it was voting on going forward with the project. But I will issue a letter. I will issue a letter before the meeting.
Go.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
If I may, Commissioner, to answer your question, as Miriam stated, $151,000 is budgeted for this project.
Okay.
So how much out of pocket are we on this project here?
You're looking at potential $85,000 just on the design alone, $85,000 more than was previously budgeted.
Okay, and we have the funds for this?
Again, if the funds are not available on the surplus, funds would have to come out from the reserves.
And what fund would that come out of? That would be
the stormwater.
Stormwater, I mean, yeah. So is there money in the stormwater? That's what I'm
The
asking.
stormwater fund for fiscal 21 is projected with a surplus. There's a contingency in there for roughly, I believe, $235,000. We already discussed earlier that some of those monies would have to be allocated for the impact fee study that Heidi is requesting. In addition, there are funds potentially available if we hit our projection with projection. If we are unable to hit our projection and there is no surplus, then the funds would have to come from the reserves.
Yeah, we don't want that. So, I would have to say, in my opinion, that the drainage in this town, if we could put the impact fees off just for several months until October in the new budget of next year, I think that would help us a lot. We want to make sure that we have funds here, you know, to keep going with these grants that we acquired. And I think it's pretty important. And
One thing to, I'm sorry to interrupt, but one thing to note, I guess, which wasn't clearly stated in the audit presentation, the reserves in the stormwater fund is in excess of $7 million. So so if there are funds available if needed, if you need to utilize the reserves.
So thank you.
JC, what's your suggestion on this?
I would recommend, I mean, we have a grant for this, HMGP. It expires in 2023. We have to either do it or not do it. And you risk losing that grant. All right. Well, I don't know if we're going to have another opportunity to get the design. And I believe, Miriam, if I'm not mistaken, there's also construction money that's available for this project. Correct?
Yeah, yes, that's the second phase. And also going along with that, this is the third time we're attempting to complete this project, and it's always a funding issue. So I believe this time around we should go ahead. This is the first time we actually have funding from HMGP to do that.
Okay, so my suggestion would be, let's put this on the next meeting as a single line item. And then,
no, absolutely. It'd be for the amount itself.
Yep. Everyone agree with that? Okay. Marlon, 11.4 will be a line item. And then we'll move on to the next item here. Number 12, Town Manager Jimenez. 12.1, renovation of the second floor. Directive to, renovation of the second floor.
Yes. Mayor, as you know, with the building department being renovated, and hopefully in the near future, the police department being renovated downstairs where Public Works is, we're going to be moving employees around up to the second floor, and we want to remodel upstairs. You know, we want to be able to do ceiling tiles, paint, lights, give it the work before we start moving people up. In that, and we're working on a plan for that, and Harry and I have been working on a plan for that, possibly tying in with the police department. The Commissioner Clark approached me, and ever since I started, they've always been told that there was going to be commission offices up here. He has requested, an office, a place like you tell me, sir, a place to hang your hat when you come in, for him to have an office. We have identified a location upstairs. It was an area where the finance department has removed all of their boxes, but I would like permission, or I'd like to know how many, if any other commissioner would like an office, so I can get a price to do them all at one time. Is basically my request.
I think all the commissioners should have an office to work from. My wife kicked me off the kitchen table, so.
And absolutely, I wanted to get that from you guys, and I'll get started on that. And can do something in the interim so we can have the office spaces available quickly. And then once we do the remodel, we'll make arrangements to get those offices remodeled accordingly.
Sounds good.
All right, but I wanted to get from all of you. Commissioner Clark, is that okay for you, sir?
Yeah, any place to hang a hat.
You got it.
And then you have Ray, and then you have Gina. If they want it, if they don't have to. If I don't want to, I won't do it, but it's there for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you got plenty of space to compromise with. I mean, those are huge rooms. I think they're what, 8 by 10? Okay. Well, Ray's is bigger than mine, or Gina's is. Okay, bye. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to 12.2.
I just wanted to give you guys, a heads up. Next month, I have 2 employees. They were the interim directors. They have their 6 months. You guys at that point, you gave them 6 months. And at the commission meeting in April, that marks their 6 months. So they will be before you. That is Harry, and also Miriam Jacques will be before you guys for your consideration. Okay.
We have their evaluations uploaded as backup.
I'll have those uploaded for you guys if you request. So.
Yes, we need to be able to review those prior to the meeting.
Okay. So I just wanted to let you know that's I wanted to give you guys a heads up, and if you had any questions, by all means. Okay, but they will be before you at the commission meeting.
All right. Any questions? No questions. We'll move on. Number 13, Town Attorney Anderson, Progressive Waste 13.1.
So Progressive Waste, as you know, I've been trying to settle it, and but it's also at the same time been going on a parallel litigation track. And one of the things we need to do, either regardless of whether it's for settling the case or going to trial with the case, is we need to get a good traffic study out there of the impacts of Progressive on the surrounding neighborhood and that street in particular. So the town planner and I interviewed this particular traffic engineer. He gave us a good quote, and we would like to hire him to conduct the traffic study. And this will be coming before you, obviously in April, to vote on, and so we can move forward with Progressive.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? No questions. We'll move this one.
The total, and I forgot to mention, the total is $2,500, so it falls below the competitive solicitation threshold.
I saw that. All right, we'll move that one to the consent agenda, and then we'll do 13.2, GCDE fee
engagement. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a fee engagement with the law firm of Gorin, Cheroff et al. I am engaging them to assist me with the charter review process. As you know, that I've emailed all of the commissioners and we've discussed it. And in case I, for whatever reason, am not able to make one of the charter review meetings, or if I get busy and I'm not able to do everything, I want to bring in a law firm to help me with that process. Gordon Cheroff and Sam Gorin, they're probably the best local government firm, I would say, absolutely in Broward County, and probably one of the best in Florida. And the fees are very reasonable, and they're very well respected law firm, and so I would like to bring them on to help me out as necessary, but in particular with the charter review process.
All right, any questions? No questions. We will move this to the consent agenda. Item number 14. Thank you, Melissa. Item number 14, Finance Department, Interim Finance Director Taubenfeld. 14.1, Business Tax Receipt and Billing Update, BTR, Billing Administrator Grooms. Michelle, are you on?
I see her on the list. I see her name.
I see your name and I don't see her muted. So, Michelle, are you on? We can't hear you if you are.
I can take over if you want, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Sure. So what you have here is your summary billing and collection report for fiscal year 2021. The first section that you see, major section that you see, the stuff that's the items highlighted in yellow relate to your reimbursable expenses. Michelle has taken on, I'm sorry, so it's, I'm sorry, the reimbursable expenses. As you can see, looking at this, you'll see that some of these customers have negative balances, credit balances. There are other customers as well that have credit balances. So one of the projects that Michelle has taken on in this process is to resolve all these credits issues, working with the town planner as well as Michael Miller, checking on the status of these customers. We sent out notifications to these customers as well, notifying of their credit balances, informing them that they have 60 days to respond. Otherwise, we will take the next step, which would be send them to the state for unclaimed property. Just so you know, this is one of the remaining issue. This is the remaining issue as it relates to the audit report, these outstanding credit balances. So we're in the process of working through that now and should have that resolved in the next couple of months. Going down to the second part of the page, you'll see where we are at as far as our annual billing for the current fiscal year. Total billing was $268,000, of which $241,000 was collected. There were some adjustments of $13,000, so we're in the process of still trying to collect the remaining $13,000. The current, moving further down, you see the current fiscal year, the actual new billing that the town, the revenue that the town has generated in the current fiscal year. So we've billed $24,000 and we've collected $21,000 of that $24,000. So that's additional revenue to the town, additional revenue that was not anticipated to the town. Next, we have the miscellaneous receivables, as I call them. These are the different contracts or agreements that the town has with various property owners. As you can see, there are some highlighted ones in yellow. Pembroke Church of Christ, which is an agenda item further down that we could discuss. I had a very successful meeting with them, and they're eager to work on the balance and maybe hopefully reconciling the balance with the town, so we can discuss that further when we get to that item. Still trying to work with on the Polo Club. So from what I know, I haven't checked with Michelle, but we haven't not gotten any response from them since the last meeting. And that's pretty much it as it relates to your status for the receivable balances. Any questions?
Any questions from the commission? No questions. Harry, we'll move on to 14.2. Waiver request from RS Trading Company. Yeah, RS Trading Company.
Yep. So this one, honestly, I'm not as well versed. Michelle has more detail about this client, customer than I do. From what limited information I have on this, this is a property owner who's had an outstanding balance to the town that goes back many, many years. Michelle has been trying to collect on his outstanding balance for many, many years. And within the last 3 to 4 months, he paid off all of his licenses, whether it be his BTRs or other fees, as far back as 2000. I think it was 16 or 17. Got those current. What the customer now is asking for is a waiver of all of his penalty fees since the fee started. If you look further down, you'll see, I think the total amount that he's looking to have waived is a little over $2,000. Michelle is recommending that we be consistent with this client as we have with others, and with the commission's approach being to waive the fees. So if there's any questions, I will try to answer them. If not, we'll have to defer to Michelle at the next meeting.
Did we split the fees last time?
No, we waived the whole thing.
Did we? Okay.
The commission's position has always been to work with the property owner or homeowner and waive the fees. So based on that, staff is making the recommendation that we stay consistent and continue that pattern.
You know, I'm just so everyone understands my opinion. You continually waive the fees. People are not going to. They're just going to ignore the fees in the future. Oh yeah, we're going to get a bunch of fees, and the town's just going down the road.
I would agree with you on that, Mayor. Again, so staff is taking this position only, in my opinion, based only on the fact that that's what's been done in the past. I'm in agreement with you. I believe that there's a lack of respect, and I think staff spends a lot of time in calculate. Unfortunately, based on the way the system is set up, we spend a lot of manual man hours in calculating these penalties and notifying these customers, and there's a lot of non-responsiveness because I believe that they feel that they can come and have them waived. So I'm in agreement with you. I believe we probably, I'd like to sit down with JC and maybe come up with I have an idea, but maybe sit down with JC and come up with a solution.
I think we should pull this item, and then you guys have your meeting and bring it back up at the next workshop for discussion.
Okay.
I have a couple ideas too. I'll meet with you two as well to discuss it.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, sir. And I agree with you.
I didn't mean to step on anyone here, but does everyone else agree with that?
I agree with you, Mayor.
I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, it's one thing, the last one, it was hardship, you know, but this one go back since 2017. There's clearly they just chose not to pay the late fee.
In my opinion, it shows a lack of respect, quite honestly. So
I agree also.
Okay, we'll pull this one and have it on the next workshop to discuss again. So 14.3, bills over $500.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so what you have in front of you are the requesting approval for the bills that are over $500. Any questions? I'm here to answer them for you.
I have no questions. Does anyone else have any questions? No. No questions. Moving on. 14.4, bank balances.
Informational, sir. Mayor and Commission, that's just status as to what the accounts are at that given date.
All right. Any questions? Nope. 14.5, fiscal 2020 year-end audit.
That was previously discussed.
We previously discussed this. 14.6, revenue expenditures, year-to-date report through February 28, 2021.
Yep. Okay, so what you have here is a snapshot of the revenue and expenses year-to-date through February 28, 2021. What you have in front of you is a summary, a breakdown by fund, and then it breaks down a little. It goes further into detail, a little bit more detail as far as by department, category by department, and then you have the detailed information for the individual line items for each department. It appears that for the most part, everything seems to be tracking where we projected. I don't foresee, as of right now, there's nothing that really stands out, in my opinion, as striking or glaring that we need to be concerned about. So everything seems to be maintaining. So,
Right.
but if there are any questions, specific questions that you may have, I'm here to answer them.
I don't have any from the commission. Any questions? Commissioner DeVaul? Nope. Vice Mayor? Okay, no questions. Move on to 14.7, Wells Fargo. Did you hear me all right, Harry?
I'm sorry, I had you muted. My apologies.
Okay,
An ongoing process of migrating to the new financial software and streamlining our processes. Wells Fargo is requiring we sign this agreement, attached agreement, authorizing them to accept our electronic signatures. So that's just I need commission approval to send that back to them.
Okay, any questions from the commission? No questions, we'll move that to the consent agenda. And 14.8, USDA Community Facilities Loan Grant Application, Police Equipment. Harry, that's you.
I'm sorry, you're muted again. What you have here in front of you, Commission, Mayor and Commission, is the makings of the loan application for the product, for the equipment purchases for the startup of the police department. Still a little bit of a work in progress, but what you have here is all the required information that the USDA is requesting from us in order to fulfill, I guess, in order to fulfill the requirements to see whether or not we meet their approval for the financing.
Okay. Any questions on this from the commission? Let me look at this real quick here.
I do want to take everybody though to page, I guess I'm looking at 271 of the agenda. It's a Excel spreadsheet. It says Town of Pembroke Park projected police startup costs.
Okay.
I think it's important to spend a few minutes on this page because a lot of what you see here is going to flow into what the interim police chief is going to be discussing as far as what his recommendations are going to be for the items for the police department.
Okay.
So if you're ready, I'm ready. Just tell me when you're ready and I'll just briefly give you an analysis of what I see so far.
I'm looking for it through the application.
So I'm looking at, so I see it as page 271 of the agenda.
I don't have an agenda like that. I actually have a
I'm sorry.
copy and just click through it.
So,
is it possible to share your screen?
no,
Okay.
it's not because I'm calling you from the phone. I'll try to be as descriptive as possible. But pretty much what the sheet is detailing, it's listing for one of the requirements for the USDA, obviously, is the dollar amount that we're seeking, and what we have to supply invoice and documentation for the items that we're purchasing. So I created a spreadsheet listing all the items that the interim police chief has recommending to move forward with, to try to come up with an estimated cost of what we expect the loan to be. So starting with the most expensive item of the purchase would be the cars.
I have it right here.
Okay, so the first item that we have, yep. Okay, so the first item that we have on there are the cars through Enterprise. And speaking with the gentleman from the leasing company, I feel, based on my conversation with the USDA, I feel that it works in the town's best interest to purchase the cars outright and finance them through the USDA. There's the greater savings financing it through the USDA rather than leasing them directly through Enterprise. So the price that you see here is the Enterprise is broken out into two parts. There's the actual lease vehicles, which is $477,000, and then if you scroll down to the bottom part of the page under service fees and subscriptions, you'll see there's a management fee. And over the course of the 5 years, you're looking at $48,000. So the total purchase for the anticipated 11 cars, we're looking at roughly $525,000. So as you go down the list, you'll see the items that we've we've confirmed, and what you see going, what you'll see as we move along in the meeting. The items that are in bold that say estimate are the items that we're still currently working on. And the goal is to have that all finalized for the commission at the next meeting, at the next voting meeting, so that we could have you, the commission vote on it, so that we could submit for the application the following day. So just looking at the items above, this will be a good reference point also when police chief speaks about the items. But so looking at the total product cost right now, based on what we have, we're looking at $775,000. My guesstimate based on the items that were missed, actually, I'm not going to guess. We're looking at $775,000. In addition, we have $116,000 of service fees and subscriptions. So we're looking at a total cost right now of $891,000 based on the items that we've identified. Okay. Outside of that, the one item that is still we need to work on is the actual payroll. We initially estimated the payroll at $500,000. I think once we have once we get a better idea as to the rollout date, we can definitely tighten up this number and get a better picture as to what the payroll figure is going to be. So right now, in totality, based on the figures that we have, we're looking at $1,391,000. And just as a point of reference, last month, when David presented to the commission approved a tentative budget of $1,498,000. So okay. We're still under where we were. That's obviously subject to change. But again, the goal is to have a final number for the commission at the next meeting on April 14th.
Okay. Let's move this as a single line item for the next meeting.
What number is that, Mayor?
That is 14.8.
14.8?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
14.9, proposed settlement agreement, Pembroke Park Church of Christ.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So as I mentioned earlier, I reached out to the leaders of the church to see whether or not they'd be willing to work on the outstanding balance with the town. And if you read the brief description, you can give you a little brief history as far as what I was able to deduce based on my conversations internally as well as with the leaders of the church. Back in 2007, I believe it was, in 2009, the property adjacent to them was, I believe, it was annexed, and they entered into an agreement with the town in lieu of taxes. They made their payments from 2007 all the way to 2014 with no issue. Around 2014, they notified the town that the pilot program that they initially thought they were going to do was not going to happen. And they requested that the town waive the agreement and waive so that they would no longer have to pay any fees. At that time, the town did not respond, and all the fees through 2014 were paid in full. The town continued to bill them from 2015 to 2021. And what you see now is an outstanding balance of $111,000. I reached out to the leaders of the church, and the attachment is what they are proposing is their proposal for your discussion.
Okay. And you want to just highlight it for everyone? So in my conversations with them, they expressed to me that some of the challenges that they have incurred over the years, mainly that the church, the church split. There's some infighting in the church split, and they obviously had a severe hit in their capabilities of funding. But at the same time, they feel that they have a responsibility to the town, and they initially made this good faith effort of, if the town is willing to agree to it, of paying $40,000 at the time of signing of the agreement. A total of $50,000 payment for the total. They want to pay $50,000 in total for the total amount that's standing of $111,000.
where they would initially pay us the town $40,000 right away, and then they would like a 1-year note where they would pay $833 a month for the 12 months to make to equal the total $50,000. In addition, that they're asking that we no longer, because they have no plans to expand the church, they are asking that we waive the agreement going forward and not charge them any fees whatsoever. In addition, in talking to the building department, it was discovered that they had some outstanding permits. They had an expired permit. They have committed to rectifying that issue as well and clearing up any matter that's needed so that they can become compliant. In addition, they've agreed to that if there is any development on that land, that the town does have the right to reach out to them and propose a new agreement and receive a form of payment, form of revenue in lieu of taxes.
Wow, you got a lot done on this one.
I tried.
All right. Any questions from the commission on this?
I just want to say, great job. Again, Harry, thank you.
Harry, do you know why it was they were not released when they asked to be released?
I don't know the answer to that, Clerk Commissioner. The only thing I was able to find in their file was a letter from them stating that, again, like I said before, that they're not moving forward with their expansion and that they would like a release from the pilot program. But I can't speak for why no response was, no action was taken at that time.
And Clerk Commissioner, I can confirm that that letter does exist, and it was time and date stamped that the town did receive it. I have no idea why it wasn't responded to, but they did submit it, and we acknowledge the fact that it was submitted by the stamp that's on it.
All right, and can you clarify the $5,000 permit fee? I didn't understand that last.
Yeah, sure. So the church, I believe it was three years, 2017 or 2018, did some, I think some work on some air conditioning work, and I believe it failed inspection. And instead of repairing it, I believe they allowed the permit to expire. And doing the research, their fees for that permit were roughly $3,800. So in negotiating with the church, they expressed to me to figure out a way where we could try to include the fee, so the permit amount in the fee. So what I suggested to them was, of the $50,000, we would allocate $5,000 towards permit fees, so the building department can receive their revenue. And anything over the $5,000, if there are any amounts over $5,000, that they still would be responsible for that. So in essence, the $5,000 of the $50,000 would be applied towards the permit fees.
Okay, thank you.
In my opinion, to the other commissioners here, this is the resolution to, the back payment that's been there, for a very, very, very long time. So Harry put a lot of work into this to get this, to work with the church and finally get an agreement with them to get this paid off and removed off our list there. So I like the agreement, in my opinion.
Harry, this is Lieutenant Attorney. You did a great job, Harry, negotiating with them. And thank you.
Thank you.
Agreed. Commissioner Clark.
Who is that? Is that Ray wants to go? Who had a question?
I agree with everybody, and great job, Harry.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Clark, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. You said there's a stamped that you received a letter, Mr. Mayor. We received a letter. And
yeah, Harry.
I could clear. Yeah. Yes, Commissioner. It's in their file. There's when the letter. Anytime any letter is received, I believe in any department, but surely I could speak for Michelle in her department when she was handling it. She would always date stamp any documentation, any letter that she received. So there is the letter that was sent from the church is date stamped. I believe it's February 2015. I don't know the exact date, but I believe it was in January or February of 2015. And at that point in time, Michelle confirmed with them that they had paid all of their monies through fiscal year 2014.
So these new fees, I'm trying to get an understanding, these new fees that you've come up with, and by the way, great job in getting this far for us. So those are computations after the letter?
Yes, sir. It's the $111,000 represents fees from 2015 to 2021.
Okay. Well, I just have to say to the commission, I mean, in these times, well, we'll do whatever the commission decides. But I'm telling you, that's a lot of money. And then so they are happy with paying $50,000?
Yes, sir. I suggested that they come with their best offer and I would present it to the commission. And this is what they suggested. Monetarily.
Well, okay, so this will be a line item at the meeting.
Yes, this will be, we can put this on consent. Unless you want it as a line item.
Yeah, well, okay, the only problem I'm having with it is they told the town they didn't want to participate because they didn't build a building. And they had no plans. Now, all of a sudden, it has accrued the penalty or the fee or the charge, the late charge, whatever it is, or payment in lieu of taxes, I guess we called it. And now, don't you think, I mean, can the commission be more compassionate than that or no? That's what I know. Here's my opinion on it. So I don't know what happened in the town in 2015. I wasn't here. 2015, I wasn't here. It wasn't until Ray and I were elected in 2019 do we know anything. And from that point forward, the commission has been trying to get 100,000+ out of this church the entire time we've been here, month after month after month. It's been here with absolutely no progress on it whatsoever. So we tasked Harry to figure it out, and he did. And he went to the church to come up with the resolution, and this is the resolution the church came forward with, which it's splitting the difference with them, a little less. And I think it's a fair agreement for the town. I don't know what happened in 2014 because I wasn't here. I'm just saying, I'm trying to get a consensus from the commission. We're okay with this, then that's okay with me. That's all I'm trying to get here. And put it on your consent. I mean, Ray and Gina, how do you feel?
Just that the commissioners that have been here, it's been on there every single month since then, accumulating and accumulating. So this gets it off the naughty list, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree. Just want to hear how you feel. Ray, how do you feel about it? That's a good settlement. I mean, but
I see why you're going with this, Commissioner Clark, but they give us the offer. I think they're happy with that offer, what they're comfortable doing.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much splitting the difference. So.
Good evening. If I may speak, this is Patrick Brenson, a member representing the board at the church.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Patrick Brenson. I'm on the call to represent the board at the church.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, we had the split back then and we decided not to move forward with the project. And then after we sent that letter, we were under the impression that everything had, ceased or what have you, but apparently it didn't. And it started to add up over the years. And there were some, attempts to deal with it back and forth, but there's just been so many different things that come up with, getting a new minister than we did, and things have been going well. And then even at this point now, where our current minister is actually taking another assignment somewhere else, So right now we're actually without a minister right now. So with the amount, you know, the brothers that we have on the board that many of you may be familiar with or not, they're, you know, very, you know, upstanding individuals and citizens, and their biggest thing is to be able to rectify this and to be in good standing with the city like we've always been. So with that amount, they're looking at it as, you know, it just absolutely has to be paid. And so when we look at that large amount, the 111, doing, you know, half of that is a great deal. However, these fees are, you know, essentially coming out of, you know, they've been adding up out of nowhere, you know, per se, since we weren't going forth and didn't go forward with the building. So that's the standpoint that the church and the board was looking at, to try to minimize this and settle it based on that amount. But I've been of the same opinion that, you know, man, this is quite a bit for the church to pay, and we really don't necessarily have it in a sense where, you know, it can, you know, the funds can definitely be used towards, you know, other things that do have to be done, and helping out other families and the church as we've done throughout the years. So, you know, if there is any other grace or anything that we can be, you know, given, you know, from this, but that's the standpoint of the board. Like, we're looking at it as the 111 has to be paid, and okay, we're doing a little less than half, so it's great. But, you know, the fees were adding up over the years, and it's based on something that we didn't move forward with.
Okay, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions for him?
No, I would just ask the commissioners, do you think that we could do a little better than what they brought forward to us? That's all. Just one simple question.
Well, Howard, consistently you were going after the full amount past.
I know. I'm just, you know, I think of COVID, church, helping family, and so do you. We all do. We're all compassionate to everybody. So it's a commission decision. And if that's the wish of the commission, then fine. As long as the church, I thought he said that they were happy with it. I mean, they would do it. That's their agreement. Fine. That's it.
And I do believe Harry said ask them to present their best deal forward, you know, and I think it's a great deal for us. So.
And it's settled.
Vice Mayor, go ahead.
I agree with you, Mayor. I agree with Harry. And I think that we're worked out a good deal with them. I mean, they're paying half the bill, not even half.
And they're happy with it. So
And they're happy with it.
right. So that's it. Good. Great job.
All right. Commissioner Duvall, do you have anything?
No, I mean, we're hearing both sides. I still think half the fee is a great deal. But if we wanted to close everything out and not have to worry about this anymore, we could wait the 12 months, just straight 40 grand, 40,000 up front, and be over with. I'd be okay with doing that.
It's good. That shows good intent from the town.
And I agree. If we all are agreement upon 40 grand across the board in one lump payment, I'm okay with that as well. Vice Mayor Cohen? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
First of all, this has been going on for a lot of years, and I'm not in agreement with it. I think that we're being really fair right now. I think the 50 split is where we should stay.
Okay, then let's move this as a line item for the next meeting. Next item, 14.10, enroll police department in the Florida retirement system, FRS.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. So after hiring, as you all are aware, all employees of the town are enrolled in the FRS, the pension program through FRS. It was discovered after reporting the wages for David Howard, the interim police chief, that the police department requires a different type of pension plan within FRS. So back in 2007, when the town joined FRS, they joined what is called the general plan within FRS. And the general plan covers pretty much all the employees that we have in the town, excluding the police department. So what I'm asking here is permission, well, first, I guess for the commission to have the discussion, if whether or not they want to enroll. The commission has the option to choose a pension plan for the police department. It could be FRS or it could be any pension plan. But the ask here is to move forward and apply the police department into the FRS program. And as you can see on the agenda item report, the cost, this is similar to the general plan. The rates, the employer contribution changes year after year. The employee contribution remains the same at 3%. The 2020 risk category for police officers was 24.45%. Just to give you a comparison, and speaking to Gloria, who handles the town's commissioner's pension plan, she had discussed with me that she had reached out to inquire to see what kind of rate the town would have to offer if we had our own pension plan for the police department. And she said somewhere probably what she's seeing is somewhere between 30 and 35% town contribution. So I would recommend to move with FRS. I think it's, since the town already is in with FRS, for reporting purposes, it just, the synergies make sense to stay with FRS. For the police department, just one thing to note, there is no opting out with FRS. So once we choose it, it's something that has to stay forever.
Any discussion?
Did you say Gloria was on the line? She was supposed to explain it a little better?
No, I had said that, I don't know if Gloria's going to be online. No, I mentioned is that I had spoken to Gloria to just get a comparison to see what it would cost the town if we decided to do our own pension plan for the police department, similar to how we do the commission pension plan. And she had suggested to me that we're looking at a town contribution of somewhere between 30 and 35%, whereas the FRS contribution rate currently for this fiscal year is 24.45%. So the town would potentially be looking at, again, based on the plan that she mentioned, and anywhere between 6 and 8% more per year towards the pension. So on $1 million, 8%, you're looking at what, $80,000. So I think there's some significant difference in monies.
So it's cheaper with FRS.
It would be, yes.
So give us a little guidance, Mr. Mayor. What do you want us to do? We're waiting on you. What do you think is the best?
I'm going to ask the town manager what he thinks we should do.
I would recommend going with FRS.
That's my suggestion, is go with FRS as well.
Yep. Okay.
So, anyone else?
Thank you, JC.
So just everyone to know that, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the application process. And we're looking at most likely, if we can get everything done in time, either at the earliest, a May 1 start date for the police department FRS program. I'm shooting for May 1, but it could potentially be a June 1 start date as well.
And then we'll move this to the consent agenda. All right, moving on. Number 15, Police Department. Interim Police Chief Howard. 15.1, Officer Sidearms, as both the ammo and handcuffs are available on state contract. 3 quotes provided for consideration. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. What I'd like to do is I'll just go through this exhaustive list, and I'll try to briefly explain Any questions, just interrupt. The first one is the mayor just read, the sidearms are not covered by a state contract. However, the handcuffs and ammunition are. We have 3 quotes. I reviewed a bunch of recent studies. Everybody in the country is going back to a 9mm handgun for accuracy and ease of qualifications, as each officer has to qualify annually. And I've settled on the Smith & Wesson 9mm. Any questions on the first one?
Nope.
And the other is the handcuffs.
I'll go ahead with, we'll finish this one, and then I gotta say something. Go ahead.
And the other consideration is the handcuffs. The handcuffs, I want everybody to have the same equipment. And I want them to have, especially with the handcuffs, because there's a lot of lawsuits that arise from improper handcuffing, etc. So the handcuffs are approximately $40 each. So that's why it's included here. If there's no questions, I'll move on to the stop sticks.
Okay, hold on. Any questions on this? Okay, we'll move this to the consent agenda. 15.2, stop sticks.
Stop sticks are for those that do not know, in the event of a vehicle trying to elude police, we can throw these stop sticks under the car and safely deflate their tires. They're a single-use item. I've requested 10 of them, and with a training kit. And that's pretty much it for the stop sticks. Any questions?
You said
the next item is.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead, Commissioner Duvall.
You said that's single use. I mean, we throw them away after each use. We have to use a new one.
No, you have to send them back to the company itself, and they keep along with all the police reports, and they keep that information, and they use that information for studies, etc. And I believe, and I'll have to get back to you on this because I did this a long time ago. I believe they give you a break on the replacement stop stick, but you can only use them once.
Okay. And Ray, to fill you in on that, one use means that a car actually drove over the top of it. If it's thrown and the car doesn't go over the top of it, they can reuse it again. But if a car drives over the top, there's little pins in there that go into the tires that deflate the tires. So it's a one-time use item.
Quills, they're called quills, and they safely deflate the tires.
Questions? Okay, we'll put that on
the next item.
15.3, Power DMS software application.
Yeah, so the Power DMS software application. So far, I've written about 100. I want to say about 105 to 115 policies and procedures. Just printing these up in 20 binders would be extremely expensive. I can issue these policies and procedures through this software system, and additionally, I can issue court subpoenas through Broward County's court system through this Power DMS software application, as well as I can do annual training, use of force, proper OC spray techniques. You name it. There's various training applications as well, with testing, monitoring, and tracking for the officers involved. And you can do all that through this software. And I've also gotten a quote for the software to implement through the whole town as well, for all different inspections. Any questions?
All right, we'll move that to consent. 15.4, Peacekeeper Expandable Baton, ASP, non-lethal use of force. Implement.
Was there a question? I'm sorry. The Peacekeeper Expandable Baton is just what it says. It's a non-lethal use of force tool for the officers. They'll have 3 non-lethal use of force tools on their police belt. This is one of them. And what this does is give the officer a non-lethal option before going to a lethal option in the use of force. They don't call it a continuum anymore, but in the use of force continuum, for lack of a better word. Any questions on that one?
Yeah.
Commissioner Duvall, go ahead.
Will we have a use of force policy?
Of course, yes, sir.
Okay.
Vice Mayor Cohen?
I was trying to look for the price for these items. The price.
It's one of the quotes. There's a quote there.
The quote.
I think it's the down at Pembroke Park.
Is that 12,000?
I can answer that for you, Vice Mayor.
Okay.
The quote for the batons is $3,875.
Okay. I was looking at, okay.
And 23 cents, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
And those are for the, there's also a female version or a smaller officer version and a larger or male officer version. Obviously the bigger baton's a little more expensive, but just by a few dollars. The next one is the officer badge design.
Wait. Any questions on the baton? Any more? Move that to consent. 15.5, officer badge design.
The badge design, I put that in there so the commissioners could approve the design that I came up with. These are through Blankenton, very well renowned badge maker in the country. And the badges themselves are about $114, but there's additional fees for artwork, etc., that we incorporated into the total price of the number of badges we're going to order. So if you guys like those badges, then we can move forward. And that's all I got on that.
All right. Everyone's opinion on the badges?
Are we using both badges, or do we choose one or the other?
One's gold and one's silver. The silver badges are for the officers, and the gold badges would be for the sergeants and above.
Okay.
I like the design.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Clark?
It's fine with me.
All right, we'll move this to consent.
Thank you.
Next, 15.6, patch selection for uniforms.
The patches are, you have 2 options. You can either go with the 12-point stitch, or the embroidered. I like the embroidered patch better, and also they're a lot cheaper as well. The 12-point stitch, I really don't care for it, but it's ultimately up to the commissioner. So if you guys want to look at those and tell me which one you like better.
David Howard, what's the difference in price between
the 12-point stitch, I want to say, is about $6 a patch, versus the embroidered, which I've found a source for 99 cents a patch.
Everyone like the embroidered patch?
I believe we're going to get 100 free patches with the embroidered patch.
Okay.
Ooh. Which one's the embroidered? The black one?
It's really blue, but yeah, it's black one.
Oh, I thought it was black. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the way it looks.
Everyone's opinion, like it, embroidered?
Both, so.
Aye.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. 99 cents versus $6 each, so.
Big difference.
All right, consent agenda for embroidered patches. 15.7, body armor.
Body armor, this will be a mandatory item for the officers that will insist that they wear their body armor. I like GL distributors. They've been around a very, very long time. They have different body armor. The commission in the past has expressed to me that they want the body armor worn under the shirt, and we have a price of it's there. I believe off the top of my head, it's like $810 a vest. The vests are valid for approximately 5 years, typically 5 years.
I have it right here. It's says $878.70 per vest for a total of $14,059.20 for 16 vests. Body armor will be mandatory worn for Town of Pembroke Park police officers. Cost per officer $870 per officer. Each vest is serviceable with before a 5-year replacement. Everyone all right with that? Yep. All right, we'll move that to consent. 15.8, oh, the worst stuff in the world. Saber red pepper spray.
Yeah, the Saber Red's the second option of less than lethal force that the officers will wear. It's pretty much the industry standard, also on a contract. And but the thing with this is it has an expiration date, so we have to be careful and not buy too much or whatever. We have to have just enough, so if an officer uses his spray, they'll carry a 3-ounce spray on their belt. The sergeants will have a larger can in their police vehicle for incidents or whatnot. And
a 18.5-ounce fogger.
Yeah, the family pack.
Yeah. Cost total is $728.57. Consent agenda. Any questions? Consent. All right. Next item. Portable radios for 9.
All right, these are Motorola radios, directly in line with the Broward County regional radio system that we're going to partake in. A side note, I'm working with LexiPol on this item and on the body cameras for a grant to help us, as these radios are quite expensive. If we're not getting the best radio, we're one grade down, pretty much what everybody else carries in the county. That's really all I got on the radios. There will be no car radios. They're just going to have portable radios.
And question on this. Okay, this is $114,539.94.
Yes.
And this is under another contract?
Yeah, it's under the Broward Sheriff's Office contract.
Okay. And to save money on the startup cost, we pulled the radios from the cars?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on this?
So this is the handheld radios, not the one on the shoulder pad thing?
It's the same thing. These will have shoulder mics. Yes, sir.
Okay.
They'll wear this on their hip.
All right. Any more questions? Move that to consent. 15.10 keeper system for officers' vehicle keys, or for office
This
and
is an electronic key management system, and it's really very, very neat. It will set up every officer, or whoever, in fact, for that matter, who needs access to a key, and will set it up to activate on your thumb. So you'll go up to the monitor, the computer monitor, and you'll scroll through and you'll pick your vehicle key or your office door you want to open, etc. You put your thumb there, it pops the door open. The key you need is actually lit up. It's flashing. And you use the key, and when you're done with the key, you bring it back, you put your thumb on it, the door opens up, and any empty slot that's available will be flashing red. You put the key in that slot and you close the door. It logs who took the key out. It videos who took the key out. And if, let's say, an officer takes a key on vacation or whatever, it'll trigger an alarm. It'll send an email to whoever we designate to manage the keys, that, hey, this key has been out for 24 hours. Where is it? You know, that type of thing. So, and as you guys know, and as everybody knows, vehicle keys are pretty expensive today. So, this will definitely pay for itself pretty quick.
So I'm looking at the purchase amount of $6,246.12.
Yes.
And is this on a contract or is this an independent item?
They're on a
government contract.
Yeah, it's a government contract. I just can't remember which one.
Okay.
This is for the keeper system, correct?
Yeah, it says keeper, K.
Yep.
K
Yeah. It's under a government contract.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, Howard, you'll have access to a backup. I'm guessing we're gonna have a second pair of keys or something, right?
Right. And they'll be in the box. Everything will be in that key box.
Okay.
All right, we'll move that to consent. 1511, traffic flares.
You got the sheriff's office report earlier tonight. Highlanddale Beach Boulevard's pretty busy with traffic. There's going to be traffic accidents we're going to respond to on Highlanddale Beach Boulevard and throughout the city. We may have to shut a lane down, whatever, and traffic flares, that's what they're utilized for. And so I think just for starting out the police department, I think we need to just go with the traffic flares. It's kind of an old technology, but it still works. And they're a lot cheaper than LEDs at the moment. So that's where we're at with those.
$675. Any questions? All right, we'll move that to consent. 1512, vehicle lease purchase option for 11 police vehicles.
Yeah, the commission's previously approved 17 vehicles. We went back, we took a hard look at everything, and I feel that I'm pretty comfortable with starting out with 11 vehicles. A couple of things. What it does for us is it minimizes our startup costs significantly. And it also allows us to better plan for phasing out police cars, bringing in new police cars, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think I just think it's the way to go at this time. And there's enough vehicles here that if we wanted to, the officers could still take their vehicle home when they're working their 2 or 3 day shift, and then they would just leave it for the next shift that comes on when they're off. Any questions?
No questions. Move that one to consent. 15.13, Guardian Internal Affairs Asset Management Software.
Looking ahead, one of my big goals is to get the agency accredited through the Florida accreditation process. And as a side note, Harry just got the audit done. That's a mandatory standard as far as police accreditation, that the city gets their annual audit taken care of. So, I mean, we're doing everything. So that's why I want to push the accreditation issue. And towards that goal is actually having an internal affairs software that will allow us to track officers' use of force. We can develop an early warning system. We can conduct analysis with a couple of keystrokes to give us a heads up if there's an issue, if there's something we need to potentially look at as far as an officer may be using too much force all the time or whatever. And I mean, it's not something you want to think about, but it's something you need to think about all the time. And as a side note, the Guardian internal affairs software also does asset management for, like, okay, we've issued you this gun, the serial number, etc. We've issued you this set of handcuffs, or we've given you 2 shirts and 2 pairs of pants. So that's another plus for helping us track our finances. Any questions?
Any questions? Nope. Moving on. We'll move that to consent. Next item, handheld tasers and body cameras. 15.14.
The handheld tasers and body cameras, in my opinion, are just a must-have, and especially in today's environment. And like I said previously with the other item, this is also a LexiPol grant that I'm trying to. I literally am just starting to work that process with that grant. So hopefully that we can get some money towards these items from the grant. And but these this is a package, and Harry can talk more about it financially. However, the package that we're getting, for the 5-year contract, if something breaks, we get a new one. We don't pay anything. If there's something wrong with the camera, we get a new one. And it's also if anybody takes their taser out of their holster, every camera within 30 feet goes on immediately, and it's back reports about 30 seconds without sound. So any questions on the cameras or tasers?
No. Harry, what's the price on this? And JC, are you the one volunteering to help out with me?
JC wanted to fight me.
Hi, Mary. Yeah, to answer your question, the agreement is for 5 years. It's $58,557 for year 1. I believe the total cost for the 5 years is $240.
Oh, I just thought $43,296 per year after that.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. All right, no questions. We'll move that to consent. 15.15, net motion laptop software.
The amount of software to run a police department is just absolutely amazing these days. Net motion laptop software is another one of those software applications that we just have to have. And of course, the net motion company, they want us to get their $10 a month software. But in speaking with Mark in IT, as well as a connection we have at Fort Lauderdale Police Department, their 500-man department, they use the $5 version, and it seems to be working just fine. So that's what I have. I put in here the $10 version, but I'm 99% sure that we're going to be able to run the $5 a month version. But along with the net motion software, there's also going to be another software application, and if you'll look, it's in the pending items. It's called Premier One, and then RMS. So these 3 applications will be running on the laptop, and they have to be on the laptop, as NetMotion is actually what communicates with the regional dispatch center through a fiber cable that the county has given us. And the Premier One software that we haven't gotten to yet will be the Premier One will actually give us our CAD. This is when somebody calls the police, everything's entered into a computer, and that's called the CAD computer. Everything will be that we need that to read that. And then, of course, RMS, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but RMS is going to be doing the actual field reporting.
Total on this one with the higher end $10 a month is $1,975. And that's on a joint contract?
Yeah, they're many, every city uses it, so.
Okay. Any questions on the software? No questions. We'll move that to consent. Then 15.16, pending items for police startup.
Mayor, if I may just jump in over. These items here are, we put them on there just to give you guys an idea of what still needs. They were ready for commission approval today, because whether it's they didn't have a government contract, or we couldn't locate it, we didn't get it. It's mainly procurement issues. So we listed all these items to show you, all the items that are still outstanding. And Dave, if you wanted to add anything, or Harry, because a lot of these items are maybe going into our application to USDA level.
If I may add something.
Go ahead.
I would ask that the commission do get the approval for the DEL items. The reason is some of them are very hard to get right now, and I know we haven't had a timeline yet, but having that approved will make things a lot easier when we need to get it going. Like I said, if we could put that part on approval, the DEL quotes that are in there, those are all off the state contracts. They're on the quotes as usual. That's what I would ask for the commission to approve.
Were you trying to get approval on these items here for future while you were working on them, or how did you want to do that?
I can answer that.
Oh, go ahead, Harry.
I'm sorry, JC. The thought process here is like JC mentioned earlier, is to give the commission an understanding as to what's still outstanding. The goal is to have this all finalized and presented to you for the commission's approval on August the 14th. As JC stated, reasons being just missing the deadline and getting this information to you for the workshop. We just wanted, again, let's make you aware of what we're working on and what's needed to complete the USDA application.
You mean April 14th?
April 14th, yes, sorry.
Okay. All right.
I second that motion. No, I make that motion. Right, April.
All right. So then what you're looking for is us to approve these, and then you guys have them on the next meeting. So how about we do this? We take 15.16 and put it as a line item. That way we can go over everything once they're there. Everyone agree to that? Nods, smiles, fingers. All right. Here we go. All right. You got a question? No? All right. Doing all right. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, on 15.16, we'll move that as a line item. 16, discussion. 16.1, MPO. Commissioner Clark, Interim Public Services Director Jacques.
Yeah, Mayor and Commissioners, right now I have nothing extra to add. Maybe Interim Public Service Director Jacques has something to say, but I have nothing to add.
At this moment, we don't have any update. Tomorrow there will be a Zoom meeting, but that will be for cycle 2. That is if for projects for the next cycles, that how to submit them. But nothing new to for our surtax projects.
Okay, 16.2, Public Services Director, Public Services Update, Vice Mayor Cohen.
Yes, Commissioners. Miriam, you want to give the commissioners the update on the irrigation on the median?
The pump?
Yeah, the pump on the median.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, the contractor who submitted the bid to replace the pump and fix the pump underbid for the cover. And the cover is supposed to cost $4,000, and he submitted only $900, thinking that he was going to get an off-market material to do and to supply it. And come to find out, he's not able to do that. So now that what we did was we contacted a few fabricators, metal fabricators that could go ahead and fabricate the cover and possibly save $4,000 to the town. So as of this morning, I had I didn't get the quote, but I did get somebody who said they will be able to, they're interested in looking into it. So we had 2 potential vendors that could do the fabrication. That's where we stand now.
And you know what? I wanted to ask you too, Miriam, the update. I want to say it's April. I hope I'm April 1st or May, for the, what is it? The work order system. Do you have an update on that?
Yes. We have all the crew team member. They all downloaded, they received the invitation, all but one, and that's the new guy in Park, and he's waiting for his invitation. Beside that, Wooden Street, Sewer, and Parks, they all settle on their phone, and they have the app ready for the training.
And that's April the 1st, is it, or when does
April? Yes, it was gonna go live April 1st, but I believe the training was April 5th.
Okay, so you're with that program, correct?
Yes, and then we inputted a few work orders in there, testing it. And so far, we've been getting, so, I mean, we still have a few questions, but that's why we have the training, but we worked it.
Okay. Let me ask you, also, we talked earlier, did Gary go by the pothole that I was talking about on off of Pembroke Road and Park Road?
Yes,
did you
did.
see that big pothole? Did you see it?
Yes. Those layers that were removed from the asphalt, and they're the top layers, and they're going to have to be repaired a different ways than the way we've been doing it. As the town engineer explained to me, we will have to, if we do it in house, we will have to do the hot asphalt installation as opposed to the cold as we've been doing it. Otherwise, it won't stay. So we're looking to see if it's something that we can do in house. We don't have the equipment. We'll have to lease what we need, and we're going to compare and see first if we can do it and the price.
Okay, I think you're getting it confused. I'm not talking about off of Pembroke or off of Highlanddale Beach Boulevard and Pembroke Road. I know the patch is there. I'm talking about the one off of Pembroke Road and Park Road going southbound, just by the gas station. When you make that turn going southbound, right there is a big pothole. It's not just, that is a hole in the street. It's not like the other ones that are like halfway that you're talking about. You know, that's the one I'm talking about.
Is it on the west side or the east side?
Earlier I told you it was on the west side.
On the west side, but you mentioned it was
I mean,
coming
it's
from
kind of, it's
Highlanddale.
like, yeah, no, it's off of Highlanddale and Park Road.
No, Pembroke Road.
Or Pembroke Road, I'm sorry, Pembroke Road and Park Road.
Right. And that one is, that one is on the east side, right? That
When
you're
you
talking
when you make the right turn on Trinity,
right turn on Trinity.
going southbound.
So that's on Pembroke Road.
Yeah, that's the one we talked about earlier. Because you told me that the repairs that you'd have to have special work
we
done.
talking about, we were talking about Park Road. Pembroke Road, we don't do maintenance on Pembroke Road. That would be Hollywood, the city of Hollywood.
Miriam, listen to what I'm saying. We had this discussion, please.
Okay.
Randy, please. Okay. I told you it was off of Pembroke Road and Park Road. Okay. That was where the pothole is. Okay. And you were going to send Gary out there. The other thing that we talked to about that was the other ones that are not as deep, okay, that you're talking about that have to have special whatever, and that's the one off of Highlanddale and Park Road going northbound.
Okay.
Okay, but if you go right by Trinity, it's right there. Trinity is on the west side of Park Road, and then the other side, there's the gas station, and there's a roofing place. So right in that section, you can't miss it. So if the guys are driving down the road, you can't miss it. And it's getting bigger, and it's a big pothole there. And that one, we, the town, as an in-house, can fix that, like we did with the other ones.
Vice Mayor JC's
Yes.
wanted to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Vice Mayor, I'll go out there tomorrow with Miriam and we'll take a
Okay.
look at it. Okay?
Yeah, okay. I know Gary was supposed to go out there today, so that's why I asked. So
Yes,
there's
he
probably confusion going on. Okay,
Yes.
it's all right. All right, but everything else is okay. I have no more to say.
Okay. Next item would be 16.3 charter review. Town Attorney Anderson.
I just want to remind everybody that at the next voting meeting, you're going to be appointing your person to the Charter Review Committee. So if you can have them submit their names and maybe a short bio of themselves to the city manager's office about a week before that voting meeting, so we can do some vetting, that would be great. And also, if all the commissioners can think about a possible candidate for the unrepresented district for the charter review, that would be good also, so that those names, if there's more than one, can be pulled and voted on, so that the unrepresented district will have a member on the charter review committee. And that is it.
Okay. Now 17, attorney comments. Town Attorney Anderson.
I do not have any comments.
All right. 18, town manager comments.
I just wanted to give the commissioner an update on the Congress recently passed the American Rescue Plan Act, in which municipalities are going to be getting a lot of COVID relief money, and the town of Pembroke Park stands to receive about $2.4 million, more or less. Right now we're trying to figure out what we can use that money, what we can attribute that money toward. But there is some language in there where we can use it for some infrastructure, as far as sewers, stormwater, which might be very beneficial to us. And so I'm exploring that, and I'll be giving you guys an update once it becomes a little more clear what we can use it on. All right, but that's my update for today.
I want to thank you for stepping up to help with taser training. Real team player there. Okay. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Clark.
The only question I have, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, when you bring up the project, the drainage project, and we're short some money, I thought I heard Harry say, don't you think that we should pull the item where we're going to take all that money, 80,000, whatever it was, for impact fees, and not do that as a consent, but do it as a line, so that we're not short, we don't come up short with any money? My concern is that there's the drainage money. We need drainage money. We have drainage. I just want Harry to.
If I may, Mayor?
Yeah.
Actually, Heidi, I guess my question to you is timeline.
Timeline.
How long, what projected timeline in completion is when?
The projected completion is in October, so it could be funded half this year and half next year. Or, you know, we make the payment
right. So I feel comfortable that if we're able to do that, the sewer and stormwater funds have always run in the surplus historically year over year. We very rarely have ever run into a situation where it's been negative. It's the general fund where the challenges arise. I feel comfortable stating that we will have surplus to cover the shortfall for the impact fee. And the potential, I also like to add the potential revenue generation from the impact study will offset the cost for the study.
I was going to mention that, and time is kind of an essence with some of the developments that we see coming through, some of the conversations JC and I are having with potential developers, the timing of when fees are paid. But also, I just want to reassure you, before I put anything on the agenda, I sit down with Harry and we went literally line by line in the budget to identify and make sure he was comfortable with this.
And I think
and we talked about the stormwater project when Harry and I talked and took everything into consideration.
Okay, thank you, Harry and Heidi. That's it for me.
Okay. Clerk Commissioner Duvall, what do you have for us?
Nothing for me. Just let's continue moving forward and let's get that police station up and running.
Sounds good. Vice Mayor Cohen, it's your turn. Aye.
Right.
You have any comments?
Yes. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to get through this. It, brings me with, great sadness. First of all, I know a lot of you know that I was very sick. I was near death. I don't know if you knew how serious it was, but I was near death. Okay. Not only was I sick, my husband was sick as well, and he's been sick for a long time. So, that being said, when I was sick and after I'm still not 100%. I still have some issues still, but from that, my illnesses, but I'm thinking about retiring. I don't feel this is bad news, but I have good news too for you, but it's hard for me because I've been with the town for a long time. I've been through a lot of hard times, more hard times than good time. I guess the good time now is with you guys, now we have a new commission, we have new staff, and I'm happy with that. And I have a lot of faith in you guys. But it's time for me. I don't physically, mentally, I am not there. I need to focus on my health. I need to focus on my husband. I haven't been able to do that because my mind has always been with the town. I have, since 14 plus years, I've never had a vacation that I can say that I took a vacation. Okay. and I'm just tired. I'm just tired, and I think May 1st is going to be it. I'm retiring, but I have some good news for you. I love all you guys. You guys are all doing a great job. And I'm going to continue having my faith in you. And I know you're going to make this town, a great town. And but I also have, the good news is I do have candidates, but I have one candidate that I think that everyone, this is up to you, the commission, that would be a great candidate for this town. He's a lot like myself, but he's very mechanically inclined. He's a good candidate. And I think he would, serve this town very well. He's honest, he's, and he would be for the right purpose. And it's something that you guys might want to consider. I would like to bring him at the next meeting. And then that way you can meet him. And then you can, take it from there. You can appoint him. You can have, or you can he can wait until the election, comes around. That would be up your choice, but I would like for you to meet him. And I also want you to know more that I will always be here for every one of you. If you need to speak to me, I will always be here for you. And I can talk to you. Okay, I will always show my support. My heart is with every one of you. And this is really tough. It's not something I wanted to do, but it's not fair if I can't physically and mentally give my whole self to the town and to the people. It's not fair. You either got to give it all or you don't give it at all. And that's how I feel. And and I love everyone, but May is when I feel that I'm going to retire. And I just wanted to put it out there. It was a hard decision, but it's time that, I'm older, I'm up there in age, and I have health issues, my husband, and I need to focus on what's going on around me. I can't be in different places. It's not working out for me, and, I love everybody, but I want you to know that you can knock on my door, you can call me at any time, and I'll always be here. I'm not running away. I'm not, I'm going to be here. I love everything that you guys been doing. I love these meetings now. I wish we had these meetings years ago. Everything is going smoothly. We don't have 6-hour meetings anymore. It's great, but now because of my health, it's time to focus on Gina, and it's time for me to focus on my husband. And so I just want you guys to know I'm not leaving you in the cold. I'm not, I'm here. I'm not running away. I'm still going to be here, and I'm going to still, whatever you guys need, I'm here for you. And I will always show you support, every one of you. So that's all I have to say. And, you always have my blessings. And I want to thank you.
Well, I'm very saddened by hearing this, Gina, but I completely understand and respect your decision. I thought we had a pretty good meeting too, so this isn't the way I really wanted to end this meeting. But we understand. I think all the commissioners do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and
I appreciate every one of you. I want you to know that.
We appreciate you and all you've done for this town as well.
Thank you.
Commissioner Clark, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say to Gina, we love you too, Gina. I know everybody's had their own opinions. Now, I understand what she's saying because I am putting the commission on notice that I'm going to be stepping down myself. I don't know when. I thought I was just going to be in there a year and then it was all going to, you guys were going to appoint somebody. It's hard. And with this COVID thing, it's incredible. I took my second shot and I had a negative reaction to where, I know you're going to laugh, every morning there's a 900-pound elephant right on top of me and I can't move. They don't know what it is. They know it's from the shot. And then the same thing. So my time is going to be limited also. So, and Gina, I love you. You have been super. You have helped tremendously. And the same thing will go from me. My door will always be open. I'm not going to do it May 1st, maybe June 1st. Okay. But you guys had better come up with people. I'm just saying things are going to change. It's ridiculous. You know, it's just too much. And the age plays a big impact. Gina's been there since day one. What, how many years, Gina? 16?
14 plus.
Yeah. And I feel the same way. It's impossible. And you get sick and you have health issues and you don't know when you're young, you think you're invincible. But as you get older, you have health problems. And it is just, it's difficult. And Gina's right on. If you can't give 100%, then how can you give 50 or 40? And that plays on you. So I agree with you, Gina. I understand. And so anyway, I'm sorry I got off on me. Because this is okay. But there's changes. Right. Okay, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
A little more I have to say here. You know, when I came in, I didn't know that this town needed as much as it did. And I didn't realize how much work and time it was going to take. This is beyond a full-time job. Getting this town back in place. And now that we have the right staff in the departments and the departments running properly, and we have a town manager running the day-to-day operations, and he's going to ride the lightning for us while we make a video. Anyways, now that we got the town staff in place and the town's operating like it should operate, I will tell you the last couple weeks, I felt the tension just come off the top and things are running a lot smoother around. I haven't stopped the amount I still dedicate to this town, but it's having everyone in place in an HR department and a town manager, you know, all these new positions and people that are actually running the town and their departments. It's great to have. And, you know, I love the progress we have made in the 2 years that we've all done together. You know, we've had bumps in the road. We've had arguments. We've had times we didn't get along. But you know what? We've made the best of it. And today, look, it's March 24th, 2021. We're moving forward with our own police department. The town is functioning very, very, very well. And it's only going to get better from here. So fiscally, we are no longer bleeding out money. And we're now in a spot where we're actually going to be progressing very well and get to beautify the town for Vice Mayor Cohen and Commissioner Clark and clean up those things. I mean, just the pressure washing of the street alone, you know, the curbs and stuff. I don't know if you guys noticed the difference, but it was major, you know, something that hadn't been done in a long time. So just those little things, they all add up, and it's taken all of us to get it going, you know. And as I always say, there's going to be someone here. There was someone here before us. There'll be someone here after us. And as long as we leave this place better than we did when we first came in, we've done our job. So, you know, I want to thank you, Cohen, and thank you, Clark, for all your years of dedication to this town. So I truly appreciate it.
And thank you guys for everything. You're doing a wonderful job, and again, I have faith in this town. I have faith in everyone. JC, I mean, everyone, you know, everyone that works for the town, keep it up. You know, you're doing a great job. And I know you're moving it in a positive direction, and keep going, because you're making a big impact, and I've been getting a lot of good feedbacks. So keep it up and keep your spirits high.
Well, before this gets any more sad, I have 2 more sections left. Let me get through those real quick. Announcements. We have a goal setting workshop on Friday, March 26th at 10 a.m. It's a virtual meeting. I hope everyone will be there. We have the Egg Extravaganza Saturday, March 27th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Pembroke Park Preserve, where Clerk Commissioner Duvall will be our town rabbit. We have our regular commission meeting Wednesday, April 14th at 7 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting. We have our workshop commission meeting Wednesday, April 28th at 6 p.m. It will also be a virtual meeting. With that all said, at 9:12 p.m., motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Yes, aye. Thank you.
Aye. Thank you, guys.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.